The Santos Tour Down Under is living up to expectations. Andre Greipel has started again. As Greipel goes for win number 12 historically. Look at the distance here. In the crash, the 2 or 3 riders fell down there. Thomas, who started it all, is finishing it off, and Sky are on top again. Climbing the corkscrew on stage 2 turned the race for many.
Yeah, I was having a few breathing problems yesterday. It's a bit frustrating for something sort of totally out of my control to take me out of the contention for the overall.
And on stage 3, a new cycling chapter was opened. And this will be the first win for the Blanco team. The youngster Tom Schleck stole the show.
I thought they were coming, but I was the strongest. It's incredible.
Next, it's the race to Tanunda, and the sprinters come out to play. Hello everyone and welcome to the Epic Cycle Series presented by Michelob Ultra. I'm Phil Liggett and joined as always by Paul Sherwen. Gerrans Thomas is still the leader by just 5 seconds over Tom Schleck.
And another first for the Tour Down Under because they're starting this morning on the grass before they move out onto the North Reese Road.
And Andre Greipel, a sprinter, thinking of the finish.
Well, he's a name on everybody's lips as the number 1 favourite for the bike race here this afternoon, but it's up to him and his team to try and control it. Philippe Gilbert pensive before the start, making sure that his radio was tuned in. Was it FM radio or was it something else?
Well, Schleck is the new man on the block. He's up into second place. Let's see what he's got to say.
Of course, we have the Aussie guys with Renshaw as our best sprinter. So we play the card of Renshaw. And hopefully he can do a good result today, and tomorrow on Willumgaard will be different, so we have to concentrate every day.
Oh, same as yesterday really, you know, hopefully let a decent break go. And yeah, just ride like we did yesterday, and I think a lot of teams will probably come and help us today with you know, a sprint very likely. So you know, Lotto, Argos, GreenEdge, I think they're all going to want to sprint, so that'll work in our favour towards the end.
Look, at the stage it's been flatter than probably the other ones to this point, so we'll try and have a sprint. You know, I'm feeling pretty good. The guys are all going pretty well, so we'll see if we can get right up the pointy end.
Stage 4 of the event then, taking us from a first-time start in Modbury as we race to the Barossa Valley today. It's 126 kilometres, that's around 78 miles, and the riders starting in beneath the cooler skies, although the sun as always shines here in the South Australian summer. One mountain, a couple of sprints along the way, and then they're going to catch the wind all the way today.
Most of the time it'll be a tailwind for the riders, but when they get down towards the finish and go through Anguston and turn towards Tanunda, they will have crosswinds, which will make it very, very grippy.
And the start for the first time on grass here in the Civic Park in Modbury, before the riders go out onto the highway and make the left turn.
3, 2, 1,
and they're on their way, a 5-second advantage overall, and that's all it is for Gerrans Thomas, with a 10-second bonus for the man that wins the stage. So that's how fragile his overall lead really is.
Well, as always, at the start of every stage, there's a neutral section to allow the riders to get clear of the towns and get out to safe racing conditions. But as soon as that neutral flag is brought in, held there by Mike Turter, 1984 Olympic gold medalist from Los Angeles, the race usually starts very quickly.
Well, every day we've had an attack by a rider from the Australian national team, which is the University of South Australia sponsors that squad, and they've been told to attack every day by their manager Dave Saunders. We'll see what happens today as they swing out onto the highway, heading up towards the race start.
I think everybody's going to be very nervous today, Phil, because of the windy conditions. Yesterday the heat was the riders' enemy. Today the enemy of the riders will be the winds, which are very, very blustery indeed.
Yeah, it has been pretty powerful, the wind. It came up overnight, along with a small rain shower, believe it or not, after a temperature soaring yesterday to over 38 degrees Celsius, into the hundreds Fahrenheit. And then the wind came, a small front blew in across the ocean, and it's going away again slowly but surely, but the forecast is perfect racing conditions today. And there's the first attack. Well, the second jersey is Uni-SA, and that's Damien Housen, and the other one, believe it or not, Paul, is Philippe Gilbert, the world champion.
Well, that was completely set up and preordained by Philippe Gilbert, because I noticed his teammate Martin Kohler came along on the third position. He actually let the gap go. So Philippe Gilbert today, I think, wants to try and take advantage of the crosswinds and the tailwind that this race is going to be subjected to.
Well, Damien Housen is the under-23 Australian time trial champion. He got the title 2 weeks ago. He's also second in the under-23 road race. He almost won that, caught right on the line. But the World Championship, and for Philippe Gilbert towards the end of last year, and he hasn't won a race yet in that rainbow jersey, and world champions don't like that. So maybe it's a long way. He's looking to keep in the lead now for 126 kilometres. The Epic Cycle, presented by Michelob Ultra on NBC Sports Network, is brought to you by Michelob Ultra. This is the year you stop saying this is the year. And by BMC, who is giving away a trip to the 2013 Tour of Flanders or Paris-Roubaix and a brand new BMC bike. Register at www.bmc-switzerland.com/Spring Classics. And by X-Endurance, the greatest athletic discovery since tennis shoes. Monday at 6 Eastern, the NBC Sports Network brings you a pop culture spin on the world of sports. Introducing The Crossover with Michelle Beadle and Dave Briggs. Premieres Monday at 6 Eastern on the NBC Sports Network.
So I don't think we'll see a challenge coming up here as we come to the top of the climb of Humbug Scrub, sitting in second position, the world champion. I think he'll allow the youngster a bit of glory to go across the line in first place, and what a picture that will make. You'll probably ask one of the photographers for that for a little bit later on to put on his bedroom wall.
Well, most of these spectators here appear to be cyclists because there's no other way to get out to the course here. We're really in the outback in South Australia, away from the towns, and over the under the banner they go for the Skoda King of the Mountains. It was Damien Housen, Philippe Gilbert. Nobody attacked anybody, and they're just carrying on to try and pull clear of the field.
Yes, but don't forget there's still a third and fourth place points available, so there should be a good sprint when we get to the top of the mountain there for the main field.
There's no urgency there yet. That's further down the mountain here. But you know, Jack Bobbers will be looking to do something about this in the Skoda leader jersey. He's almost tempting people to come and join him here, and they're letting him ride clear. Now, if he gets the third place finish over the top, I don't think, in fact, that the Bobbage is going to worry about this. He'll get the points, 4 points. That'll give him the outright lead in the competition. Gerrans Thomas is not going to defend this. His aim is, of course, the Orica overall leaders jersey. So Jack gets it. He's now going to wear that jersey by right tomorrow.
Yes, the important thing for Gerrans Thomas is not to concentrate on the smaller competitions within the whole bike race, but to look and try and conserve as much energy as possible. There's confirmation. In fact, Graham Brown coming out of the pack there to clear up the 2 points. He's a teammate of Jack Bobridge, making sure that nobody else got them.
So the field now concentrates on chasing back those two men 3 minutes up the road. Now Gilbert checks over. Is Housen going to let Gilbert take his World Championship jersey over the line first? He gains a little bit. Overall, he's 2:53 down. He will get 3 seconds off that, so it'll be 2:50 overall behind the race leader. 200 to go. I don't think Housen is going to go past him at all.
Well, if you look at it in a situation like this, in fact, there's another sprint point coming up in around about 8 kilometres time, and I think these two riders may well survive through to that one as well. So they, in a breakaway like this, they've collaborated throughout the whole of the day.
Yeah.
The Housen in second position was first over the King of the Mountains, so Philippe Gilbert probably said to him, look, you went over the King of the Mountains in first place. I'll take this one, so at least I've got some beer money for tonight.
Yes, quite right too. And 3 seconds off his overall time as well. And he also got a better rest period, Housen, behind Gilbert there, because he led for the last kilometre.
Well, look at this. They're trying to. There's Gerrans Thomas in third place.
This is Gerrans Thomas. We're going to hunt him for 1 simple second here, but it will give him a 6-second overall lead if he got it. And he's going to have to really push this time along because he's being taken on here. And I think it's Mark Renshaw who's spoiling the party for Blanco as they race up to the line. And that has taken the second away. It's not Renshaw, that I don't think.
Brownie. No,
it's Graham Brown.
Yeah, it is.
Graham Brown, it is indeed. Graham Brown, the Perth rider. Well, that spoiled the party.
Well, he was obviously doing that for Schleck because they want to keep they want to make sure that Geraint Thomas doesn't sneak out of the pack and grab a second here and a second there. So they've sent their man Graham Brown, again, also an Olympic gold medalist from Athens in the Madison, to go out and take on Geraint Thomas.
It came up in the middle of the night and it was quite high. It was gale force for sure. 600 to go. Again, I don't think we'll see a sprint here, and Philippe may let Howson take this one.
When he comes through to do his turn, it's a long ride to get to over these last 400 metres. Gilbert takes up first position.
And remember, there's points here in the Jayco Sprint competition as well as time bonuses, and leading in that competition as well is Geraint Thomas, and so he wants to score more points if he can. Lovely cheer from the crowd. It's just up on the hill there, very fast charge in. This is the route that the Bupa Fun Riders came through on the challenge earlier, and it looks as though Gilbert has taken it. So that's gone again to Gilbert. 3 more seconds, which is more important to him. That's given him 6 seconds off his 2:53. So he's now 1 minute and 57 seconds when he's caught overall to Geraint Thomas.
More importantly, we'll see an interesting sprint for third place once again. You can see the Sky Riders are all lining themselves up into a big long line within the end of that line, the ochre jersey of Geraint Thomas. Just having a quick look to see if I can spot Graham Brown on this occasion. They have picked up the pace a little bit in the main field, but they've certainly given Philippe Gilbert and Damien Howson a little bit more freedom.
I couldn't see the jersey of Tom Schleck, so he's saving himself for the finish, and he's not bothering to chase these small seconds in time bonus, that's for sure. It's Eddie Boysenhagen, the champion of Norway, but he's a Sky Rider as well, going through. And pacing through just behind him there, right on his wheel, was Martin Kohler. I'm sorry, it was Luke Rowe, the English rider, who tagged on. He's going to also lead out. Here comes the cavalry from Blanco as they start the sprint. That is Kelderman on the left, and it is Brown on the right. And Brown takes it again, just pips the ochre jersey. So poor old Geraint Thomas has fallen twice there to Graham Brown.
And the gap as they go through there, 1 minute and 20 seconds. Brownie doing the job that he needs to do, but it's interesting to note that Renshaw is not coming up to attempt to do these. And talking a little bit earlier on to a lot of the guys, they put Mark Renshaw down as a dark horse to quite possibly win the stage today.
Well, the Australian's a very popular boy. He comes from Bathurst, which is in New South Wales. That's quite a long way from Adelaide. I'd hazard a guess as we see the sprint here, and an easy victory. Across the line there. Geraint Thomas losing another bonus point there. 4th place for him. He gets points though in the Jayco sprint, so he might be keeping his lead in that competition.
But Blanco were very, very lucky that the 2-man breakaway was off the front when we came to this sprint point, because that took away the first 2 places.
There are a few tricky turns ahead, aren't there?
They're only 200 metres now or so from that left-hand turn. You've seen a lot of the riders really racing for the front. There's been a crash there. Someone's gone down.
Oh, well, he must have slipped on the side of the road there. One ride, it's an Argus Shimano rider, and I think it looks like it is Jonas Alstrand of Argus Shimano who's gone down. You might just see that crash again. Have a look to the left. It was just beneath a tree there, but I think he clipped a warning sign that was put on the side of the road, and he was actually off the main tarmac there. So as the riders continue to grab wheels as best as they can at the moment. Off to the right is Orica GreenEdge. They would like a win, desperate today, because they've lost their chance of winning this race overall on the climb of Corkscrew Hill. We are now just over 6 kilometres from the finish, and because the road runs off into loose shale on the right, this is a very hazardous situation.
Well, I might have thrown you a curveball there. 22 in fact was Adam Hansen, 24 is Greg Henderson, and he'll be the guy who rides right in front of Andre Greipel. Orica GreenEdge have got control here. In second position there, that's Simon Gerrans. Somewhere in the midst of all that will be Matty Goss, but I think today he's decided he's going to follow the wheel of Geraint Thomas, because as Robbie says, he knows that Team Sky will make sure that Geraint Thomas is well protected. Everybody looking very, very nervous. It's a slight incline here, and that makes it just that little bit tougher, and you can see everybody's trying to get to the front. Team Blanco over on the right hand side there. Now they're trying to move their man Mark Renshaw up to the front.
Time for one last break. We'll finish when we return. The Epic Cycle, presented by Michelob Ultra on NBC Sports Network, is brought to you by Michelob Ultra. This is the year you stop saying this is the year. And by Giant Bicycles, the world leader in cycling technology and craftsmanship. And by Louis Garneau in the cycling solution. Visit us at www.louisgarneau.com. 3 hours in the saddle, an incredibly quick time today for these riders as they make that safe left-hander, just taking off the apex as we go across the railroad tracks there, which tore the vineyards here. Now, if you're at the back of the peloton now, Rob, I guess you're done for, because all the action now is about holding position at the front. These riders tailed off, including Jens Voigt, and now they've done their pacemaking. They've had enough as we see the rear of the peloton, but we're now turning for the finish, and it's a question of reassess and get your sprinter into position. This should be about now where Robbie McEwen might be spotted.
Or probably even not yet. I'll be looking in a headwind like this one to just stick into the wheels, not be seen at all. If you're seen on the camera, you've got your nose in the wind. It's not where you want to be. The thing at the moment is the wind is blowing really strong, but a little bit from left to right and pushing them across to the right-hand side of the road. So there's more to contend with. There we go.
There's been a crash, and there's two Euskaltel riders down, and Tyler Farrar is down there, the sprinter from Garmin, walking around. Well, they're inside 2 kilometres to go. These guys do not lose time, but that's not the point right now. They're looking a little bit sore there. It was Aberesturi from Euskaltel Euskadi who's stretching his back out. But the race goes on at the front here as they try to reposition. We're looking for 1 kilometre to go.
And we're looking at the Lotto team just sticking to the right-hand side of the road, staying together and making sure they keep out of trouble, keep their sprinter in their wheel. Francais de Joux coming to the front, swinging back across towards Lotto. They're getting in danger of getting swamped in. I see Andre Greipel raising his head, looking for any obstacles, looking what's up the road as Sky take a run as well. It's still quite a long way to go. Even with 3 or 4 riders over a kilometre, you're unlikely to make it all the way to the line. I'm hoping as they come under the kilometre kite that our team, Orica GreenEdge, can get together, get Matt Goss back towards the front in position, and he can pop out at the right moment. With only about 800 metres to go now, Marcel Seberg on the left side, he launches the Lotto sprint train.
Oh, there's been a massive pile up there, and that's taken out a number of the Orica GreenEdge riders that have gone down on the right of the road. As the race continues on, that's about 700 metres to go for the crashes. They now fan out. Now, where are the sprinters? Greipel's team is on the left. Right in the centre is the orange jersey of the race leader, and it looks like Gerrans Thomas is making a run here as well. Greg Henderson trying to lead out Greipel. Henderson is going, and there's a little bit of bumper shoulders with Kittel there, just trying to stay on course there. But watch now, watch the second wheel, because Greipel is going now as Marcel Kittel comes at a run. Greipel is heading for his second win here in Tanunda. He's going to get the record of 13 stage wins as he crosses the line, and a very good sprint over in second place from Roberto Ferrari of Lampre will have hung on for second. But what a shame, Rob, that we had that shunt. You almost predicted it on the run-in.
Very unfortunate. This run-in is always very difficult if it's a headwind. Even a little bit from the side, it makes it so treacherous along the side of the road. I saw Ferrari in the wheel of Greipel, and I thought he may be able to take a run at him. Kittel tried to come up. He got squeezed out. Mark Renshaw came up on the left, pushing with Ferrari, had himself in the wind. Greipel sitting on Greg Henderson. Absolute armchair ride. He puts the power to the pedals, even in the headwind. He's ridden Ferrari out of the wheel. He may have hung on for second, but it's all Greipel. Just there in third, I think, may have been Jonathan Campbell, number 66. Very, very good ride for third place. Came a little bit late, but that was a great finish.
Getting the better there of the British rider on the right, Andrew Fenn. He will have crossed the line in fourth place, but the Gorilla is about to eat all the grapes in the Barossa Valley with that, because that is his 13th victory in history and his second of this year's Tour Down Under.
Well, Andre, that was win number 13 over the years at the Santos Tour Down Under, but it was pretty scary on the run into the finish today.
Yeah, there was a bit of crosswind to the end, and yeah, with the headwind, the last 2 kilometers was pretty messy, and yeah, the team did a good job to keep me in the front. With the headwind, it wasn't easy, but yeah, we waited as long as possible, and I think we did a perfect lead out again.
Your team seems to have that perfect recipe of how to launch you into the final few hundred meters.
Yeah, we were good together, and yeah, it's just nice to have those teammates. Thank you.
So let's have a look at the stage result first of all. Then just over 3 hours for a massive distance today. Ferrari of Lamprey second, Jonathan Cantwell third, Andrew Fenn of Great Britain there in fourth place, Barney Marcus, good ride back on Soleil in fifth place, and the top 10 completed by Klaas Lodovic of Team BMC. They tried to get him up after that long breakaway by their teammate. Let's just have a look at the crash here. This is the rear of the peloton, who's getting themselves organised, and this is the one that we saw early on at the back as we came back to the aftermath of it with two riders down.
Quite a typical thing when they're going along in that situation. The right-hand side, someone swings away from the right-hand side. It's like a wave moving across the bunch.
Well, that one happened in the middle again. It was nothing to do with parked vehicles at all. This was a rider created, a pilot error, if you like, situation. Darrell Impey had a very heavy fall there in the centre right of our picture.
And there was one of the Blanco team riders who went down first. It looks like he must have clipped a wheel. He's gone over the handlebars.
So let's see if we can speak with Geraint Thomas.
Well, Geraint, a very grippy run in towards the finishing line. You kept yourself to the front and out of danger, but there were some guys there taking plenty of risks.
Yeah, definitely. It was pretty dodgy there, and it was a stressful day really because there was a bit of wind, and I think everyone was thinking about the potential crosswind sections and things. So quite a stressful day, but you know, I'm used to the bit of argy-bargy, so that helps. But the boys were great as well. You know, we stayed near the front with about 10k to go, and yeah, kept me out of trouble, so that was good.
It was very good, and he keeps the Oakers leader's jersey as well by the same 5 seconds he had at the start of the day over Tom Slachter. No change here. Moreno stays third, Herman stays fourth. Big battle on the old Wollonga Hill tomorrow, but for the moment he can relax in the glory as Geraint Thomas keeps his lead. That wraps it up for stage 4. Be sure to tune in to our coverage of stage 5 tomorrow at 1:30 p.m. Eastern, right here on Epic Cycle Series, presented. For a full cycling schedule, log on to our website at NBCsports.com. For Paul Sherwen, I'm Phil Liggett saying so long for now.